Wrestling Brain. Welcome back to Wrestling Brain. I'm with Zubes and Josh Custodio here to present an AEW Full Gear preview show. It's not just me, of course. You are used to seeing us together on Wednesdays. The Zubes is here. Zubes, how are you this evening, brother?
It's early. It's Thursday. I'm excited, man. It's different. It feels good.
And Zubes, we are joined by, let's face it, the heavy hitter of the Wrestling Brain Network. He is one of the co-hosts along with me of Higher Bryan. The host of Guys is in the house. Murder, Bryan Quinby. Bryan, how are you tonight, dude?
It's late. It's Thursday. Let's do. No, I'm kidding. It's not that late. I'm not being that whiny. I'm excited to talk about. I watched Collision last night for the first time in like 80 years.
And
So, some of the worst shit I have ever seen. I cannot tell you. Did you watch all 3 hours last night?
No, but I watched Collision during work today.
Mamma mia, that Collision was bad. Let me just say the Okada match was absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
The tag match was one of the worst matches you'll ever see in your life. And Chris Statlander on commentary was so bad. Like in a very noticeable way. She was bad. They shouldn't put her on commentary anymore. Yeah, that was the brutal part to me. I was running while I was watching it, and I was just like, why is she on commentary? She doesn't have anything to say. She didn't say anything. She kept saying like, it felt like she wasn't like really there.
Yeah.
Like maybe somebody was talking in her ear or something it felt like she wasn't talking to the other people that were doing commentary. You know what I mean? But I just couldn't believe how bad it was. Fucking brutal, that hour of TV.
So Zube said this about Chris Statlander, that at least when she was feuding with Toni Storm, that RJ City is probably having a heavy hand in her promos too. So maybe it's like a memorization thing, but yeah, we have not been big fans of her promo work either, have we, Zubes?
I think they keep giving her something other to do than worry about. Like they're moving her around a lot. They're always giving her like a second thing to do along with promoing, which is like such a classic tell of like somebody who's not confident in the main thing they're doing. You take their mind off it by giving them a second thing. That's what I feel happens to her a bunch when they make her talk.
She doesn't have to talk. Like it's not like there are 100 other ways. Like, listen, if somebody can't promo, don't put them on commentary. I guess they might have some faith in her promo ability, because I can say that like I didn't notice it really until that Collision, but that Collision I was like, oh, this is bad. Like go back and watch it. If you're disagreeing with me and you're getting mad at me, go back and watch it. You'll be blown away. You won't even believe it happened on real TV. It's that bad.
There's such a difference too, beyond like, because you can think of wrestlers that started off as kind of bad promos and then got there, like Bryan Danielson's an example. And you want to give them minutes and miles to sort of get there, but you really just don't get the sense of the Chris Statlander this is doing anything more than like exposing her and making her like uncomfortable on television to it.
I mean, it hit me after it was over. Like, I'm starting to think that they wanted to put the title on Mercedes, but not have her beat Toni Storm, as to have a big bad for Toni Storm, or for Mercedes. Yeah. Like there's one person that she can't get over the hump with. That gives her that. You know what I mean?
She can't beat Toni no matter what.
Yes. And then, obviously someday she beats her, but it's like a big deal when it happens. And like, that's what I'm starting to feel like. Maybe the Statlander, they were just like, we got to move the title to somebody that we don't mind having Mercedes beat. She's already beat her twice. She can be Mercedes. You know what I mean? Because I don't think she's winning.
Predicting, Bryan? Let's start with this match. Let's open with Chris Statlander and Mercedes Moné for the
WWE. I think Mercedes is winning, is what I think. I think Chris Statlander is a transitional champion.
I think that will be unpopular if you're right. What do you think?
I don't care. No, I'm kidding. I mean, Mercedes is a heel. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that like people saying like, oh, this is bull. Like, it's a heat. It's fucking heat. And like, look, Statlander's fine. She's gonna be okay. Just put her in matches. She just is not she's just not a promo. I love her match. I think her matches are good, largely, most of them. But
You're deteriorating there, Brian. It sounds like you hate her matches.
I
Every
do
word
like
you
her
say.
matches. I know I
They're
mostly like her
fine. Well, I
matches.
can't stand them.
I think that commentary really shook me last night because I
I
thought,
can tell. Collision in general has rocked you to your core, I
You
feel like.
can't be watching
well,
Collision. It's not good for your perception
I
of the
know
of the company.
I should have done it. I shouldn't have. And then I text Josh sometimes and say like, I'm not. I don't hate. I don't hate this pay per view. I guess I think the matches are going to be good. I'm just really like, they're now on the second month of doing the same matches,
Mhm.
and these matches largely. I mean, maybe where we differ on this match we're currently talking about. But I think we know who's going to win most of these matches, which is why they put the gauntlet in.
And it's the same person who won the last time too. But I want to stay with
Yes.
Chris and Mercedes here. Zubes, do you think Mercedes is winning the world title on Saturday too?
I think she's live because I've sort of viewed the eventual trajectory of her of being AEW Women's Champion and not what we call a television champion, right? It sort of seems like the bigger, broader title. So I think it's a live thing, and it just makes more sense to me that if she's not like say she ends up with both, if there's one for her to not have, it makes more sense to me for her to not have the TBS. It just seems like even though she's
Yeah.
elevated it, it just seems like if she's gonna do belt collector, if she's gonna do have every single belt, she should have the biggest one and not what we essentially call, sort of the intercontinental version of the women's title, sort of for lack of a better word. So I think it's a live thing. I think it might be a bit of a referendum on how they feel about the Statlander run so
Yeah.
far, which he hasn't had a ton of runway to even prove a lot on. So I do think it's a live thing. I think I probably came into this thinking a lot stronger that Statlander was probably a heavy favorite. I didn't hear the commentary, so that's where I don't even have that
Your faith
distraction
in
out.
Statlander hasn't been. But we've been pretty hard on her on the show in promo segments, even in pre-tapes. Like we've remarked on like that's the best take they had. I
Yes.
feel like multiple times with Chris Statlander at this point, where it's like, why not just do it live? If that's the quality you get in a pre-tape, like you might as well just turn on the camera.
I even found the Dynamite pre-tape to be kind of, what the fuck is going on here? Like
Which one was that, Brian?
she just focus, finding
Oh.
like whatever she's doing, whatever that was. Like maybe this is my theory. She wrote a poem and they let her do it as a promo. But I was just like,
I
what is
do.
going on? What is this?
Yeah.
What is this character? Like, why aren't you know what she should be?
A poet.
Yes, a poet, a hard ass, like the genius.
Yeah.
She should be doing the genius gimmick, basically, or
Yeah.
Lanny Poffo. I'm sorry, she should be doing the Lanny Poffo gimmick with the little frisbees with the poems on them. But no, she should just be a hard ass. She should be in the same general area as like Megan Bain and Marina Shafir. She should be in that area of the card. I think that she has one thing above them is she can work a good match, but she works a power style.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And they're not having Megan Bain cut promos every week. You know what I mean?
And when
Like,
she does reasonably well. Like she does
Yeah.
those short 2 lines, I'm the biggest, the strongest, whatever. And I always feel like it works pretty well. I'm also on Mercedes here, but I actually think that this is kind of a live match either way. I actually think you both kind of grazed it, but I get the distinct sense, and I am way too in the weeds on this stuff. Very real chance I'm making this up. But I feel like Chris Statlander's performance like fully designated whether she was winning or not on Saturday night, because I do think you can do Mercedes belt collector gimmick without the world title. Like if Chris Statlander was running unimaginably hot right now, I could see them making the decision to be like, no, we keep going here. You've got all these other ones. You can elevate the TBS. That'll be fine. But I don't think it's been there. And I think that Mercedes is going to win the world title. And I think Brian was right that it's an effort to make sure that Toni Storm is still positioned as the ace of that division or what have you, and the person that she still hasn't beat. But I ultimately think Chris Statlander does deserve more and could have done better, but just didn't really get there over the last couple months.
I think this used to happen a lot in WWE too, and it does at times happen in AEW, but a little less. Is like, oh, we put a title on you, you have to be able to promo now. Like
Right.
that like the minute we put a title on you, now you have to come out and do segments, and it's like, why? Why does she have to come out and talk if she can't do it? Her matches are great. Like, I've never been down on Chris Statlander, except for maybe the alien stuff. I thought was a little like, what the fuck is going on here? But even then, I was like, it was overplayed how bad that was. Like, people were freaking out about how bad the alien thing was. And I was just like, it's whatever. I don't think she thinks she's a literal alien. She's just like, I'm a space lady. You know what I mean?
Which is bad. I actually do think
that. And I think just have her be a badass fighter. I don't get it. I don't know why they got her cutting so many promos, but that was like the big thing to me. I was like I was on the treadmill and I was watching this match, and every time she talked, I said, why is she talking? Like, I was just getting mad about it. But yeah, I think Mercedes wins, and then we start the process of losing some matches to get belts on different people.
Unanimous on that one. Let's talk about the main event. I'm tempted to take Chris just to look smart. My real picks or whatever I put on the pick'em sheet at patreon.com/J060.
My pick is Mercedes.
Zubes, let's talk a little main event here. Sure. Samoa Joe versus Hangman Page. Like Brian said, it's a rematch. This time in a cage. How much does the cage match do to sort of get you in the door on this? And where is your anticipation, excitement level? And in the way that Chris and Mercedes are live, is Samoa Joe live to win the world title on Saturday night?
No, I don't think so. I think this match sort of like really exemplifies my problem, my like malaise with where the company is right now, where it's like I don't have any specific dislike of what's happening, but it just feels so much less exciting than it should be on paper, where it's like Dynamite week in, week out is reliably a certain level of good. And it's like factually, is Paige and Joe in a cage a worthy main event most of the time? Absolutely. But it's really hard to overlook the framing of it. Certainly doesn't feel like the lid blowing off of a huge one of their big 4 pay-per-views, if you want to call that. And it's a rerun. There are some things that are live, but I think this is really indicative of like where I am with the product in general right now, where it's like I don't have any doubt that it'll be exciting. I don't have any doubt that it'll be good. But the fact of the matter with the AEW pay-per-views is they're gonna ask me to be excited about this like 5.5 hours into the show. And it's such a long walk for something that is not that captivating and not that in question, that it really, to me, again, sort of signifies where I am in general with the product, where it's like it's going to hit a certain level of quality because the house style is a certain level of quality and main event Joe is a guaranteed certain level of quality, but it doesn't have the, like, for lack of a better word, what I want from the Hangman face title run, which has been so good and it had such character change in it. This is it feels like we're falling back into the trap we did first time we had a Hangman title run, where it's like you're giving him these foes. It's a little bit like when Mox was first starting the Death Rider run, where it's like you have these foes that you don't think will beat him and don't really want to beat him. It wouldn't make any sense for me for this to be the end of the face Hangman title run. So it's like it generally isn't a company that does things just to do them. Usually these stories end on point for a reason. They wouldn't shock me just to shock me. So I don't have a ton of like, I need to stay up and make sure that my energy is saved so that I'm giving the main event everything that it deserves. So I'm not super high. It'll be good. Again, it'll be good. I'm just not like, oh, I can't wait for this.
Brian, I saw you nodding along to a bunch of that, but then very supportive nodding, dare I say, when Zubes mentioned that this is going to be about 5.5 hours into a wrestling show. So no matter how good it is, that's hampering it. Where's your excitement level? Does this feel like a main event, this cage match?
Yeah, as much as because the champion's in it. You know what I mean? Like, I have been complaining a lot about, like, I was texting you, Josh, about this, about how, like, they need, why not just do something? You know what I mean? Like I was talking
This is
about
actually
how
stuck in my brain. Like they could just do something.
yeah, you can do things. You're allowed to just do things and surprise people. You know what I mean? And it just feels to me, I don't want Samoa Joe to win the title right now, obviously. But like that didn't have to be the match. You know what I mean? Like they didn't have to
Yeah.
we were fine. Everybody was fine with the match the first time. And also the hit on the match the first time was like, well, yeah, 0 chance of winning. You know, but it wasn't the main event, so it didn't make as much of a difference. And then when they decided, oh, we're just gonna go back to it, it's like, well, we know who's gonna win this time too. There's nothing you can't give any doubt at all. Like there's no doubt in my mind. But I was saying that I think Tony Khan. I also think Triple H is this way too. I think they're both this way. That they're both averse to being accused of hot shotting, and they
You'd have to be
worry.
insane to do so for either of them. But
I
yeah.
know, because I think both of them worry about when they do a big thing, then all of the podcasters are going to be like, these guys are fucking hot shotting. You know what I mean? And then it's like, but I don't think it's 100% bad or 100% good. I think if your promotion feels stale, fucking hot shot some stuff. Just do some shit. Just put Darby in the fucking main event. I don't know, just something that could make us be like, oh shit, I don't know who's gonna win. Instead of what they kind of did with this pay-per-view is just threw some stuff in where it's impossible to know who's going to win the fucking gauntlet. You know what I mean? And so in their mind, they're like, well, we got that. It's like,
There's the mystery.
I might not care about that. I might not even care about who wins that match. You know what I mean? Like that's the other thing. It's so autopilot now. And I'll say this I don't know why this bugged me, but like, could we everything for Blood and Guts, there were matches to determine who had the advantage, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So a week out, they do a match to determine why not. Now, this is just me. I'm fucking stupid, but maybe they could do qualifying matches for the Continental Classic, and then we could know the brackets.
You've lost your mind.
And talk about it. Instead of, hey, it starts next Wednesday. Who's in it? I don't fucking know.
That's on YouTube next Monday.
Yeah.
They're so sure somebody's getting hurt on Saturday. They're so scared to death with injuries. They're so scared to death of injuries.
It just that could be a match. That could be two or three matches with stakes on this pay-per-view that anybody could win. You know what I mean? And that's what I think that I think people are having trouble putting their finger on this. And the thing is, we just want there to be an anything can happen, anyone can win thing. And that's not happening right now at all.
I don't know how the chat feels about this, but it's the easiest thing in the world for me to say that Samoa Joe should win on Saturday night. I think it's clear as day. Every scene is so stiff and stale right now. Everyone is on the run of their lives, super long one. There's no heel waiting in the wings for Hangman Page. Do the trilogy.
My hope is Darby.
Which is insane. It's insane.
Yeah, but they're not going to do face versus face, Darby and Hangman.
They will. They've done it before.
It's just crazy to me that there's no heel waiting for Hangman. It's like, I feel like 3/4 of the show is in a heel stable right now. Like, how is it possible?
We don't have one Don Callis family
is in every segment, and it's like, well, none of them are going for the main title. It's like, that doesn't make any fucking sense to me. But whatever.
Not to interrupt, guys, but I do think MJF is live for that.
Oh yeah,
yeah, he'll be there.
MJF, but I don't know when he's back. Although Tony
he'll be back
soon in
because it's New Jersey.
Yeah,
and I guess you could say. Oh, I'm blanking now. Never mind.
Well, he could come out for Briscoe too. It's not 100% that he's going to come out and challenge Hangman. He could come out and fuck up Mark Briscoe's match too.
Jay White is who I was thinking of. If Jay White
possibly
is ready to return, he could be
Swerve. His injury wasn't that bad either.
But I don't feel like they're gonna. I feel like they're waiting for the new year for something big. I feel like you wrap up at World's End with this trilogy, and it gives this title. Hangman is not the champ who has to beat everybody. He can lose and regain the title. Think how many times Toni Storm did it. Does she feel harmed by that in any sort of way? Like, that's the babyface champ. Not there's one way to do it, but I don't think they're going to. But I think it would be interesting, and it would give their feud. I want to love Samoa Joe versus Hangman. I feel like I'm mad at a friend right now. Like, they've got Hangman Page for Samoa Joe in a cage in a main event. I should be the most excited guy on earth for this. And like, I feel like I'm like having to talk myself into the door. I told Brian before, it's like, I watched at lunch today Joe versus Angle in the cage because I know that match is good. And I'm like, okay, oh yeah, we're gonna get a little of this on Saturday. That's good. Like, I'm here trying to will myself into the door. And so if give this feud what it deserves. Give Joe the win.
I think the match will be good, by the way. I'm not saying it wouldn't be good. Hangman's so good at garbage matches that I think it'll be super good.
I really hope you're right. I hope this is like a classic, because I do think both guys are totally capable.
But they need a new challenge. We don't need a trilogy. If they do a trilogy, I'll fucking jump out of my window.
Even if Joe, like a Joe win, wouldn't feel good to you?
No, because I wouldn't do that. Yeah, and the reason I wouldn't do that is because of the way that Hangman's first reign went. Now, if his first reign was a long reign or like a decent reign where he beat a few people, I'm fine with that. But it wasn't. It got cut short by CM Punk. And I just think you have to give him his shot to run for a while. And like, who was the champion? Joe was the champion before him. Oh no, Mox was. Nobody has liked the champion in so long. We just let them have their guy, have them win the match, and then either work MJF at World's End or work like I said, you could do a face versus face match and just do Darby, and Darby could win. I don't think anybody would be mad about that, and then do a quick switch back. You know what I mean? Like, there are ways to do stuff. There are face versus face matches to have, because I mean, Swerve is a face, and that would be another match. He's not going to be able to become a heel. And that would be another match they could do if he
feud can supersede alignment, though. Like, those guys together is like an established dynamic enough.
Right.
That, like,
right.
I don't think.
But I think you could do Kenny Omega would be fine in like a prize fight way. Like, you can do face versus face matches like a prize fight. And
yeah, especially with Hangman, you could make him make hard decisions. That's where, when you say Darby, it makes a lot of sense to me, because it's like, it's a little bit less face versus heel, and it's a little bit more like good guy Hangman Page has to make a really hard decision here, because you have to kill Darby. You can't good guy him around and then shake his hand at the end. Like, you have to literally light him on fire and throw him off the stage. And then you can bring in the, like, either the Death Riders ruin it for him because they're not done with him, or he wins, and now the fear is, oh shit, we're one step away from Death Riders again. It's like, oh,
or MJF. MJF could come and interfere and make Darby lose and go in a feud with Darby, or he could go in and interfere, make Hangman lose and go in a feud with Hangman, or one of them win and he could go back for the title again. I mean, that guy's going to want another title run too, since he had the worst one in the history of the company.
Tough. That is the worst title run. No, I agree.
That named the worst.
No, it is. I don't even know what second is. Maybe Jericho's, because I don't really remember it. Like, I don't. Zubes, on the record, Hangman Page is winning this match.
Yeah, lock me in.
Brian, you as well?
Yeah.
Let's make it 3-for-3, even though I will be praying for Joe on Saturday morning alone. No one wants it. Just me and other people clinging to their youth through the Ring of Honor roster from 2002. Okay.
Just before you move on, Josh, just producer's note. I think MJF, to avoid any litigation here, he will want me to say he was on top when they drew the biggest gate in wrestling history. So just throwing that in there.
Important. Well, let's take a look at the trend line of the ratings when he was on top.
The show announced a year out before he ever won the title. Interesting.
Let's look at attendance. How attendance went from the beginning of his run to the end of his run.
Well, people love to get talked into the building and then talked to once they're in the building. We mentioned to him a couple of minutes ago, Darby Allin versus Pac. This is my most anticipated match on the
Yeah, me
card.
too.
I cannot wait for this. I hope the instructions backstage is 10-minute match. Give it every gas down, pedal down, whatever you want to say. Make this one a sprint. I've been dying to see this version of Pac in full action. I know we got the Orange Cassidy match, but I'm so disinterested in Orange Cassidy currently that it didn't do much for me. I think these two will get along so well in there, can work at a speed not everybody on the roster can necessarily keep up with. Zubes, where's this one for you on your excitement level? But who's going to win? Because I think there is a very good reason to make either guy win in this match, which is nice to have on an AEW pay-per-view.
Yeah, this is top for me as well. Darby is sort of in a class of his own, exempt from the doldrums of how the company feels because he's just so unpredictable and there's such a like nobody else does what he does anywhere, and it's so different than like sort of the house style that can exhaust me sometimes. I think I would have Pac win this. I am pretty sold down the idea of like the Death Riders are falling apart at Mox's hand, and part of the story I would sow in that is everybody else doesn't see what the big deal about beating Darby is. Of just sort of like Pac's like, yeah, I can beat Darby, and Claudio can be like, yeah, I can beat Darby. Daniel Garcia can be like, yeah, I can beat Darby, and it's like for some reason Mox is like not mentally strong enough to do it. He can't help but get dragged into the broken glass fire. He can't help but go down that road where a guy like Pac is like, I'll just beat him. Or a guy like Dan Garcia is like, I'll just out wrestle him. Like these guys can understand that you don't have to fall for it, for lack of a better word. And Mox, who is supposed to be this cerebral, like, I'm a puppet master controller, can't help himself. And that ends up being sort of the catalyst for the end of his reign in the Death Riders. So I would put Pac over here, I think. And Darby is like the number one guy. It's like no loss ever lasts more than like 15 minutes with him. He could literally drown somebody backstage 10 minutes after he loses, and you'd be like, oh, there's all that heat back. So I think I'd put Pac over here. I think I would.
How does that sound to you, Brian? Pac beating Darby on Saturday.
That's fine. I actually think that's a possibility. I heard theory. Have you guys heard the theory that maybe the person that's taking over the Death Riders is Marina Shafir?
Yeah, or I've seen people
Ooh.
calling for it and like seeing the rumor and liking it. Horrendous.
Kind of
idea.
not the worst idea, I don't think, because she doesn't have to work matches at that point.
She's so bad on the horn, though.
Right.
think the
'Cause she
idea
doesn't
would-
have to do
yeah.
anything. You know what I
Leaderless
mean?
would be what I would expect them to be like kind of leaderless, where like the new idea is like we don't need a leader. We have a voice in Pac, and we have a strong man in Cesaro, and we have
That's
a
true.
technical. I mean, you don't need a like.
I
The
would
whole, the whole problem is
I think
Mox
I'd
leading.
probably have Darby win, but that's because I like Darby and I'd like to see him in a bigger thing. I'd like to see him get away from the Death Riders. Number one, just go do something else. That's what the staleness is to me. It's
Mhm.
like everybody at the end of this pay-per-view goes and does something else. I don't give a fuck what it is, just something else. So yeah, I'm gonna say Darby just to get him, because I figure if he loses to Pac, we're headed to a Pac and Darby feud where Darby is still fighting the Death Riders, and it's like the promotion just will continue to feel stuck in the fucking mud. Everybody's in the same feud all the time, and again, it's probably because it's football season. It's almost becoming obvious now.
I think you both made great cases because Darby in the world title picture is also what I crave. Pac
Mhm.
leading the Death Riders does feel like, or not leading, but helping expunge Mox. To that, I think Gabe Kidd is the inevitable leader. I think he'll come in late January as a full-time AEW talent and will be because he can talk, he works the style. Like I think he makes a lot of sense in that spot, gets to enter in a big role. And the match between him and Mox would be fantastic. But here, I do think that Pac goes and takes the win. I think he gets Darby in a brutalizer, but more for what Zube said, where it's just, if I think both guys could use the win, Darby actually doesn't need it and can get if there is this match with Gabe Kidd or whatever he wants to do going forward, I think people will be super interested all the same. So I'll pick Pac here. Pick Pac. One more down the card. The TNT title. It's Kyle Fletcher versus Mark Briscoe 6, Brian. You've complained about rematches. You've complained about the same stuff. Is this one out of Miles, for you, or is this stipulation of if Mark loses, he has to join the Don Callis family enough of a hook for you?
This stipulation is the only thing that makes me not like the match.
Okay.
Like
Why is that?
I like a street fight or whatever the match is, a no DQ match between Kyle Fletcher and Mark Briscoe. I think they have like really good chemistry. I think I've liked all their matches, but the chance that now I have to watch comedy segments with Mark Briscoe and the Don Callis family for 3 months even is like, don't do that, man. Just have him do something. Please stop treating him like a clown. He could be a difference-making guy if you just fucking treat him like a serious competitor, you know?
What do you think's going to happen? Is Kyle Fletcher successfully defending and Mark
Kyle
Briscoe's
Fletcher's going to beat him. Yeah, I think Kyle Fletcher's going to beat him. I think maybe it'll look like Mark's going to win, and again, MJF could show up or something like that, you know?
Zubes, you give him the thumbs up and approval. You're seeing Mark Briscoe joining the old ECF.
Yeah, it's the only thing that really makes, which is funny because like Mark Briscoe, the road to being serious could start with him actually being a TV champion. Like a serious up Mark Briscoe making TV defenses every week actually is really appealing. And for that reason, I don't think it's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
I feel like that being such an easy idea is what we are going to get, him making googly eyes in the background of Don Callis and
To be a
like
butler. He's a butler now.
Yeah.
Oh, look, Don Callis is at the chicken ranch. Oh, that's so good.
I got so sort of upset, and we talked about this repeatedly at the weeks that followed. Like they gave him one of the biggest wins I can think of, right?
I
Where
know.
he beats MJF with 1,000 thumbtacks, and the very next week he's like, "I don't want a title shot. I'm cheering for somebody else, and we're gonna do the '90s sitcom couch gag for the conglomeration." And I was so pissed off. I was so pissed off because it was like, why? He shows it to you every time. He gets over in front of the live crowd. He brings people in. He talks passionately. He can promo. He has a great connection. He talks about family, and they just can't commit to it, and it drives me nuts. And my instinct here is they're going to continue to do that. They're going to say, "Oh, he's a guy who can do everything," and so we're gonna do some levity here and try to get somebody over out of the Don Callis family thing. And he's gonna goof around, do some hee-haw laughs for 6-7 weeks, and we're gonna end up he's gonna split, and like, yeah, we probably get a pretty good moment out of it where it's you get the like, I guess your praxis is like Daniel Bryan leaving the Wyatt family. You hope for that moment. I don't think it's gonna feel that big because the Callis family is such a revolving door of in and out, and you lose track all the time of who leaves and goes, that it doesn't always feel as big as it should. So my prediction is, yeah, that it probably is MJF, who I feel like his last words were about it not being over, and Briscoe continues to bring him up at least in passing as often as he can. So I think that's a seed planted for that being brought back up here.
Yeah, unanimous here. I also think Mark Briscoe's going to the Don Callis family. And this is such a shitty argument to have to make because it's like we don't know. But I just feel like if it's good, it'll be good. And if it sucks, it'll suck. Because there is a version of Mark Briscoe's character. Because I like what we saw of him on Wednesday, this more dampened, sort of downtrodden, actually pissed off version. And if in the Don Callis family, it's not played for yucks and hee-haws, and he's actually just like a boiled frog or like a kettle getting full, I actually think that he's a really good avatar for that energy. But it'll depend on the execution. But I think we are going to see it either way.
It's going to be comedy. It's fully going to be
don't tell me that, Brian.
The way that Mark Briscoe is treated is Tony Khan's most Vince thing, I think. Because I think he looks at him and he's like, this guy can't be a star. Look at him. You know what I mean? And I seriously think that is his most Vince thing, because this is a guy that everybody would love to see with the TNT title for a year. Just doing fucking open challenge matches. Every match he has is good. They have
it's unique in AEW. He doesn't work the exact house style of AEW.
Exactly.
He has a style that stands out.
Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. You're probably right. I think he joins the Don Callis family, and then Don Callis like steps in chicken shit at the farm, and he's like, "Oh, my shoes are all messy," and fucking there's a
Yeah, that sounds
painting.
funny. Hang on.
Yeah, and the painting. Don't forget the painting.
There's a painting with
No,
Mark
okay, no more
Briscoe, and he's like all that stuff. That's the whole thing. And you can see Tony Khan be like, "Oh, the painting too. We're gonna have a painting." You know what I mean?
Painting on the farm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like put one in the chicken coop, maybe.
Can I give
Yeah,
you guys
like
a,
when Satnam Singh went to the farm, which I thought was great, actually. That was good.
Can I give you
Yeah,
guys a
Bob.
10-second pitch on how it could be good
Please.
if he's in the Don Callis family? MJF comes back. He wants to use his contract on Hangman. He hires the Don Callis family. Don assigns Mark Briscoe to be the guy who has to help MJF take out Hangman. Pathos ensues.
That would actually be an interesting road to the triple threat between Mark Briscoe, Hangman Page, and MJF that I really felt like we were going to get. And then we just didn't all of a sudden. MJF was just gone and the contract thing was dropped. So bizarre. So I think that's a good prediction, Bobby. But all three of us on Kyle Fletcher. I think, do we agree this match is going to rip, though? That I like these guys' matches together.
For sure.
This could be the
For
best
sure.
match on the show.
I still think Darby Pac, but this has a lot of my interest. Another one I do think in that discussion, though, but I'm a little nervous about this one as well, is Jon Moxley versus Kyle O'Reilly. They're doing singles. They're doing pay-per-view. Brian, I'm nervous. Are they giving Mox his win back here?
No, I don't think so.
What's this?
I don't
one
think
gonna look
Moxley's
like?
going to win for a while. I think Moxley's going to tap out, is what I think will happen.
Attack
mean,
on
you
the
can-
same ankle.
It would be so stupid for them not to just have him tap out. Now that every time he walks out, people chant, "You tapped out." He should be on a spiral at this point and not get his win back. And personally, I think he's not going to get his win back because I think the fact that it's Kyle O'Reilly is one of those things where it's like, this just seems like something Mox wants to do. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
It doesn't seem like an idea that Tony Khan had.
No, he has his
It's-
Darby was like that too. Like Mox is picking who he wants to work.
Exactly. And I think Mox would rather lose to Kyle again. He lost to Kyle 2 times. It's not like he's worried about losing to him. And I think that's I don't know. They haven't treated Kyle O'Reilly as like the most serious guy in a very long time. So the hope is he can get back to where he was like back when he was in New Japan, where he was
Yeah.
the funniest thing he did was like Sleazy Kyle. He didn't do the like Orange Cassidy tribute act or the, or, "Oh, I'm such a funny guy" sort of thing. He was just kind of a serious guy that was kind of an asshole. And that version of him is great, but I don't know. It's really hard. It's hard. Both him and Roddy is just like, these are guys that used to be fucking serious, like could have been serious competitors when they came over. Roddy rules, but then they made him, they put him in that MJF thing and it made him like goofs. And then they put him in the conglomeration. It made them seem like goofs. And I think it's going to be hard for the audience to like give themselves over to, oh, these guys aren't goofs anymore. You know what I mean?
Zubes, the reason I frame it like that is because I feel like there's this escalation where so Mox gets the DQ. He's nervous, so he hits, I think it was Rick Knox, I can't remember who, gives him the forearm, and he gets the DQ. And then he gets the count out. O'Reilly has the guillotine, the power guillotine on him on the outside, and they get counted out to 10. And then Kyle O'Reilly taps him in blood and guts. And so I feel like they've done the natural escalation. Is it just that this time it will be in a singles match and that's even more meaningful? Is that why? And who are you picking in this one?
It's tough. Part of me does want to say that the no holds barred, that they are going to find a way to, Mox like has to really blatantly cheat to do this. And it's sort of like he's, not to discredit Kyle O'Reilly, but like he's fallen so hard that he has to cheat against basically everybody he fights now. Like there's no more clean win for Mox anywhere. But another part of me, and maybe it's one of those ones where you're overbooking it or you're rushing to the end in your head, where like part of me is like, is this the one where the Death Riders come down and then don't interfere? They come down and they're like, "Listen, man, we're sick of like we've been carrying you for like 6 months and you're a dead limb at this point, and we're not helping you out." Not that I think he's excommunicated tonight. Maybe they save that, but I think this would be like they've shown signs of Mox getting weaker week in and week out. We haven't seen as much of the Death Riders acknowledging that. A little bit in Blood and Guts where like Garcia couldn't believe he tapped out. I think you need to have a capital M, for lack of a better word, moment here where the Death Riders look at this and say, we are not helping you beat Kyle O'Reilly of all people. Like a guy who 2 months ago was like the second most important guy in the conglomeration, was like tied with Ishii in terms of like importance to AEW.
My
I
guy
can see
Ishii,
that,
who
and
last time I checked was 0-82 at
doesn't
AEW.
stop him from getting title shots whenever they need somebody to be the mystery opponent.
The
So
best booked guy at AEW. What if he only lost ever?
I think I'm taking Kyle for that reason. I think this is the beginning of like a real breaking point for the Death Riders, but it also was so easy for me to see them just like the Darby Casket match, or just being like, yeah, they give him a visual win, but Mox cheats and they win. Like they've done that. They've run that back so many times.
I love the optimism from you two. I am going to go John Moxley picks up the win here. I hope to be wrong, but I think that the crescendo happened. And if you want to look at Kyle as made or whatever, they could do it. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope we get the tap out from KOR again. Oh, I am excited for this next one. Maybe I like this card a little more than I thought. I'm excited for FTR versus Brodito for the tag team titles. Zooms, we've talked a lot about this feud. I feel like it's actually been one of the more complete builds across this pay-per-view, or at least like you've seen growth between these two teams. I think we're in for a title change here with FTR picking it up. I don't know if we got to that on the show last night. Are you seeing the switch to FTR? And where's the ceiling for this actual match, even relative to the AEW tag division, which is usually pretty high?
Man, super sky high. These guys are like playing within the rules and bending the rules heels has always been the best version of FTR. And I think the pairing with Stokely has allowed them to round that game out. And quietly in the background, they've done a good job of not overexposing us. Like the road is them against Cope and Christian. Like it still is. They took that away from us visually, so we didn't get burned out and make it too obvious. I feel like we're seeing that come to roost. Still, the last time we saw them was the Beth beatdown.
Beth!
I think that has been the road the whole way, and this is the route to get us there. So I think this will rip. I think it'll be really good. I expect this to be another one in the catalog of like FTR title matches on pay-per-views that could have main evented. I think this is gonna bang. I really do. I think Brodito and are also like super due. I think everybody sort of agrees these guys could both be single stars, and the fact that they both got mic time on Wednesday is not lost on me. Of like, okay, we're gonna start getting you accustomed to hearing from Brody King. We're gonna start getting you accustomed to learning a little bit more about what they have to say and who they are in terms of motivation. And I think FTR are off to Cope and Christian for a championship, or Bucks and Cope and Christian, a three-way, or maybe they're going to do an homage and do a three-way ladder match with those teams and sort of send those guys off with a TLC sort of homage sort of thing. But I think that's where we're headed. So I think it's FTR getting us back on track and sort of getting the titles back to reset, back to square one for 2026.
I'll never forget sitting in that arena in Toronto beside you, Zubes, and the Tron, the screen lights up and it just says Beth.
My God, it's Beth.
Unforgettable moment to me. It's Beth. Brian, are we seeing Cope and Christian either during this match or after this match?
I don't think so. I think FTR is going to win, and it's like the perfect time for it to happen, because I don't think there's any way you do the Continental Classic without Brody and Bandito. I think Brody's been in all of them.
Yeah, that's
maybe.
Right. Yeah,
and Bandito is just the type of person you put in that thing in the Continental Classic. So I think it's perfect time to do it. You're just gonna beat them, and FTR. You might see Cope and Christian run out at the end, but I just think they're gonna win by some nefarious means and then sneak out of the play. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna cheat and then run out of the place while Bandito and Brody King are looking at him angrily. I guess would be the way I would do it, honestly.
Is that the right call? Like, are you excited for the titles back on FTR?
Yeah. I think I would like for it not to be Cope and Christian that we're building to. Or the Bucks. I don't want it to be the Young Bucks either. I just like a tag team that hasn't. I don't know which tag team to use. not the Bucks, not Cope and Christian would be my choice. Because it feels like every time they put the title on Bucks or FTR, they're like, well, they got to wrestle the Bucks or FTR
Yeah, we
first,
gotta see
of
it.
course. Yeah. It's like we've seen it too many fucking times. So, yeah, it would be nice to see them do something with a team that can work a good match before they go to Cope and Christian. And because, like, who knows if they're going to beat Cope and Christian? I don't know. I'm sure they will, but it's just a weird, like, the seeming end point of the Cope and Christian story is Cope and Christian winning the titles and holding on to them. So it would be very nice for maybe to get a couple of bangers out of FTR before they do that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I wasn't much of a fan of their match in Toronto between FTR and Cope and Christian. Not eager for more of it. Still pissed off that Cope is the first guy to kick out of the Shatter Machine. Then he just hits the worst spear ever a second later.
So he's got the worst spear in the fucking world, that guy.
The running hug.
Horrible spear. I would love for him to spear me. It seems comfortable.
So you're more comfortable than when you were standing.
Yeah.
After he speared you.
He's laying me down and tucking me in for bed. That spear sucks.
Zubes, you and I have talked at length about the AEW National Championship. I both think disaster is maybe strong, but poorly timed, poorly
Stupid.
planned.
Yeah.
I heard can I tell you what I heard somebody say today?
I'd love that.
The way you can tell that Tony Khan's not fully engaged is new title. Then, like, every time it seems like Tony Khan's not fully engaged. Oh, we got a new title, actually. Here's a new title we have.
So the women's tag titles and this back-to-back are horrific signs for Tony's engagement.
That's a really damning fucking thing to say. And it's right.
Any names, Zubes, you're expecting to see here? Of course, we know Shelton Benjamin. We know Bobby Lashley. Is there anybody we talked about we don't want it to be on either of those guys? I know it's always hard talking about these because we don't know who's going to be in it. But is there any name that comes to mind that you would like to see even in this match, if not winning it? I could throw
It's tough.
If you like.
Yeah, initially I was like, I thought this might be an MJF spot, but then I was like, the point made about Mark Briscoe probably makes a lot more sense. I just thought, like, the return pop in New Jersey, he classically wins gauntlets and battles royal. Mystico, is that crazy? Is it crazy to put it on a guy who's not even a full roster guy?
I was thinking Mascara Dorada, so we're actually in a pretty similar headspace here. Brian, is there anybody you see that can win this national title and make sense? And have you felt equally negative to Zubes and I on this thing?
I just think it's fucking stupid. But, like, Ricochet, maybe?
Yeah.
Somebody you could put it on? I mean, steal
it would be
from Bobby
weird
Lashley.
He loses to Lashley and then he wins the... Yeah, I guess you could do that.
Just put it on Ricochet. He's a heel that people want to see get beat up. Weirdest fucking opening segment of Dynamite ever. But whatever. What are you going to do? Hey, give me the microphone and I'll just talk. I'll do a stand-up comedy bit. I like the Eagles. Oh, cut it out. You cut the Eagles promo everywhere you go. They were in Boston last night, and I was like, are they in Texas? Is that why he's doing the Eagles thing? And it's like, no, he just does it everywhere. He just goes to places and says the Eagles. It doesn't matter if they're in they're rivals. But yeah,
it works that well.
I think it's Ricochet. I like the idea of MJF too, but I don't know, man. I think MJF is Mark Briscoe or Hangman next opponent.
Does it do anything for you guys to consider the fact that the winner of this belt will also be working the next ROH pay-per-view and has to go defend it in Defy, GCW, whatever? At least that's what they want the belt to be. And we know that means nothing in 3 months or 6 months, but the first 3 months, they're going to actually do that.
Yeah.
I don't know, because remember when they put the international title on Pac and they were like, he's going to do so much stuff. He wrestled one match in Europe and then came back over here and was like,
well, Brian, you forget that Shazam leveled that title up. That changed everything.
I loved it when Shazam Fury of the Gods leveled that title up. That was great. But it's stupid. It's fucking stupid, especially because I do believe, I might be wrong, they're going to split out the Continental title And
Oh, don't tell me that.
I
tell me,
think they're
don't
going
say
to
that.
do it. I fully believe they're going to do it. Tony
Make a
Khan has
trophy.
said, I agree. Listen, you're preaching to the choir here, but I do think they're going to split out the Continental title and the old international title.
Hate to hear that. None of us with a lot of clarity on the Casino Gauntlet Royale. Maybe on the pick'em sheet, somebody will give me a name or I'll go, oh yeah, that would work.
Ricochet.
There we go, Ricochet. I'll say who's a lower card guy? I'll say El Clone.
Yeah, that's a good one. I was gonna say Hechicero because I realize now that the guys we picked, Josh, are in the pre-show.
Unfortunately, he's wrestling in a pre-show.
The Clone?
No.
Mystico and Mascara Dorada are both pre-show. As is Hechicero. There we go. I get the whole.
Yeah,
I get the whole.
Hechicero.
God, you have Okada and Takeshita and Mystico, and they're all pre-show. It's
That is
three of the best
Listen,
wrestlers
but they're on
the-
cable TV. I do actually think, like, hey, if you're not going to have the big angle, why not put Okada and Takeshita on cable TV?
Yeah.
Not the worst idea.
Eddie Kingston too.
Not bad. Yeah, against the
Not bad,
Workhorsemen,
yeah.
who I'm happy to see getting some AEW shine.
Ugh. Oh,
And
Go
Big Boom
on.
AJ.
Yeah.
And
Brian
Big Boom
hates
AJ.
people with gray hair, I think. I forgot about this. That was the source
JD
bar
Drake.
for
The
you.
only thing I like JD Drake because he's a bowling guy. I think it's funny to have a wrestling bowler.
I guess that is.
I wish he made it more of his gimmick.
You're thinking he should sort of do a wind up kind of deal.
Show up
Maybe
with
a
his
pin.
bag. Show up with his bag and his towel, and then
A
put
good
it
indie
down and
gimmick.
say, "I got to get bowling when I'm done with this." match."
Someone's definitely done this on the Indies before. Has to have.
Yeah, Pete the Bowler or something. I'm sure when they were doing like all the irony guys, when Dan the Dad was like popular.
Ugh. All right.
That's mean.
Okay. That was great, actually, is what I meant to say. Sorry.
But I was being mean too.
Yeah, what I meant to say is I like that stuff.
Oh, I love it. Oh, the comedy over there. Oh,
I love
give
to
me
laugh,
another
so-
Glacier match on the Indies.
How about if I had $1 million match? It's $1 million trios match. This is what we have. Kenny Omega returning to do, teaming with Jurassic Express and the Young Bucks. Fighting against the Young Bucks. Of course, Kenny Omega and Young Bucks still in the sphere of people they are willing to work. And Josh Alexander has broken into that sphere. I think that they were going to do a Kenny and Josh Alexander singles at some point, and Kenny just wasn't well enough to do it. And this is them paying that off because they have had so many small interactions, even just Josh mentioning Kenny, all these sorts of things. My whole take here is I feel really disconnected to this. I think the Elite will somehow be back together by the end of it.
Are you excited? You're not excited about Elite lore? Oh, they're going to give each other looks. It's going to be really something.
What sort of
They're gonna
looks?
be like,
Can we here? Let's all do. Oh, that's okay. That's a good one. Seems you have an Elite. Oh, that okay. Okay, I got one for
like
you.
the Young Bucks will be doing like the oh no. Am I going to kick Kenny in the head or are we going to become friends again? I hate Elite lore. I got to do without it ever happening again. One of the things I think makes this Hangman run special is that he's not fucking mired in Elite lore.
Well, get ready for 2026.
Don't say it.
A lot of
Because if I
elite
gotta see the Young
happening.
Bucks come out and look at Hangman and go like, I hate that shit. I fucking put Kenny. If Kenny can't work a singles match, let's just not have him. Like, seriously, what good is he doing? He's never there. And when he is there, he's in a fucking trios match.
With people you're so used to seeing him interact.
And he's cutting some fucking weird Kenny Omega promo. It's like, how about when Kenny can do a singles match with Kyle Fletcher, we bring him back? And I know, because I know some people will be like, well, they kind of have a lot of injuries and all this stuff. But it's like, really, what good is Kenny doing where he's at? Really? Another $1 million match.
I can't express, Zubes, how little the dollar amount match means to me.
I know it could be
brutal.
$16.
It's something beyond nothing. I don't know. It barely registers with me until I read my own pick'em sheet that it is. It's like, and oh yeah, barely even qualifies as how much it registers for me. Waterweed Dune Hair. Are you interested in this at all? Is there any pairing of guys in here that you're kind of interested to see square off?
Should say there's also a $200,000 four-way match
Yeah.
in the pre-show. So there's like they're doing it. Not only are they doing it a lot, they're doing it twice in one show for 2 different amounts. It's so.
I'm telling you, Tony is busy.
Does he think that's like? Does he think one viewer or ticket is sold by adding that stipulation?
By also, you're doing the listen, like it or not, he does the irony promotion too. It's like we know they're not getting $1 million.
That's right.
Wait,
You know what I mean? So it makes it even less like okay.
It would be
whatever.
cool if they just like handed him $1 million
Listen,
cold.
If they got $1 million, I'd be like, now I'm interested. But they don't. It's just a.
And
it's,
they've burnt the
again,
opportunity to ever do that.
Yeah.
What are they gonna say? Oh, we're really giving him $1 million this time?
And it's just a match that's just gonna happen. And
it calls into mind like how much are they paying these guys? That's the thing I can't stand. It's like you really think that Kenny Omega and the Bucks are not. I didn't mind when they first did the Bucks are broke angle, but it's like you're either going back to that now or you're going to go back to them being raised. Like there's no win here for me in terms of the way that this turns out and is not annoying.
If you're going to Full Gear, can somebody hold up a sign that says "Please come to work, Tony"?
Jags are a playoff team too, aren't they?
Fucking probably. He's sitting at the Jags, like he's sitting at Daly's place, like figuring out a statistic for the Jags, and he's like, $1 million, new title. Let's do that.
Tony, we've already got a $250,000 match on the prelims. Well, just times it by 4. Just that's a huge
$1 million.
number. They'll go crazy.
People love $1 million.
Guys, let's talk about the last match here. Or I guess we should say who we think's winning. I think I guess I don't know. I guess I think Kenny Omega and Jurassic Express are winning.
Yeah, I got Kenny.
I see them losing, and then Kenny getting beat down, and the Bucks super kicking everybody, and then
that's the moment.
The Elite's there. We're all excited.
How about you, Zubes?
I flip. Yeah, I'm gonna flip. I'm gonna flip to Kenny to the Bucks. The Bucks winning so that you don't have to do the broke thing anymore. But being millionaires won't be their thing, but they will pin, I don't know, Jack Perry or Luchasaurus, and then they save the beatdown. I think that makes sense.
You know why Luchasaurus brought the vacuum cleaner out last night? Because Jack Perry sucks.
Hey,
final match here. This is the final match we're going to get to. And Bryan and Zubes, thanks so much for carving some time out tonight to go through this preview show. It is appreciated. Bobby, do you want to stay on after and we run through the pre-show quickly if it is loaded? We'll let these East Coast
I'm not watching it. Yeah, and having me here for the pre-show is kind of like, I'm not going to watch that either.
I've never seen a pre-show of AEW's.
Yeah,
we got to record our.
I'll stay on, and we should make a game of it where you add one fake match in, and I have to guess if it's really happening or not, because I wouldn't know. I would not know.
I forgot Zubes and I have to record something after, so scratch that I said that. Let's just talk about this 4 corners women's tag match. The Babes of Wrath versus the Sinners of Sin versus the Timeless Love Bombs versus the team of Megan Bayne and Marina Shafir. Zubes, we've talked a lot about stakes tonight. The only stake in this match is that the winning team will get to choose the stipulation of the match of their semifinals. Is there a team that Sisters of Sin is the only team that I even could associate with a stip, I feel like. So I feel like I guess I'm picking them. Do you have a different read or a deeper read?
So glad Bryan is here to give me the out of being able to say how much I hate and could not care less about the outcome of this and how much this is completely indicative of the problem that I have with AEW pay-per-views. I'm just like, this doesn't need to be on the pay-per-view. This is going to take up 15 to 20 minutes of the show, and it's going to it's not actually even furthering the tournament they're in. It's not even the semifinals match. It's not even a quarterfinals match. It's to set up semifinals matches that are going to happen the next week. This is such absolute filler. You talk about Tony being busy, that they got to Wednesday and they're like, hey, Tone, only 2 women on the show? And he goes, oh shit, throw 8 of them on there at the very end. It's like, meaningless. I couldn't care less. I guess the Sisters of Sin are going to win because they have the only ones because Sky Blue is hardcore. She's like a deathmatch wrestler. So she'll make whoever they're facing go through 3 stages of hell, or I don't even know, War Games again. I have no clue. I guess, or Timeless.
Yeah, I was just thinking they'd do a hardcore match of no holds or whatever.
Bayne and they'll challenge Bayne and Marina Shafir to no holds barred, and it'll backfire or something.
Where are you at on this one, Murder?
Oh, I honestly like because of the promos that were cut. I know it's gonna sound so stupid to everybody, but the promos that were cut on Dynamite really felt like Tony and Mina were gonna be picking this. To me, felt like they were gonna be picking the stipulation because most of their promo was about picking the stipulation.
That is true.
And nobody else's really was. I mean, Sky Blue was like, "I'm a sick bitch" or something like that. I was like, "Okay, what? You bled one
Cool.
time. Calm down." And
I'm
like,
with you. I'm with you. You're not some deathmatch legend bleeding in one match.
Yeah.
Relax.
You did
Totally
one-
with you here, Brian.
You bladed really well once. Do it again, maybe. I don't fucking. She's gonna just start blading all the time now. But
She has to. Well,
yeah, well, that's her move. Yeah, and the only who I don't know who wrestles who. Oh, Mina and Tony wrestle Marina Shafir and Megan Bain and the other the babes or whatever. And you know who is a deathmatch legend? Willow. So I think it's probably either gonna. I'm talking myself out of Mina and Tony now, but I also think that's a way for them to be able to beat Megan Bain and Marina Shafir without it just being like a slip on a banana peel or something like that. Like you beat these two big, strong women with some kind of stipulation that they made up in their mind, a type A death match, I think is what they actually said. And it just feels like that might be the direction. But again, you could see them giving it to the Sisters of Sin because they stink at wrestling and they just got to do something for them, you know?
Stip will easily help them the most. I think we all agree on that. Of these four teams, the weakest is Sky Blue and Julia Hart.
Oh, I was going to say, not in the tournament because, buddy, that match on Collision was bad. The Anna Jay and Ty Mello.
Anna Jay is they should do Anna Jay versus Penelope Ford. Loser leaves town.
Not good.
Double count out.
Double count out, brother. You're ready to 100 miles.
I will say my favorite commentary moment was them saying like, "Well, I think Megan Bain traded up here."
Oh,
Yeah.
So mean.
Yeah, but impossible to disagree with.
Agree. I think it's a great. I think they should just fucking throw the plans away and have Megan Bain and Maria Shafir be the.
I said the
champs.
exact same thing.
And just run through fucking everybody run through everybody for 6 months and then have somebody beat them. It would be incredible. That's not what they're going to do. But because what they're going to do is whoever wins this is going to have the title. And then you're going to see them once every 3 weeks on Collision in a match with somebody that they could never possibly lose to until Tony's like, "Oh, we got the women's tag titles. We could probably do something with those." Maybe when the Jaguars are done, or maybe when the Jags are done in the playoffs or something like that, they'll come up with some ideas.
I'm gonna have to learn something about football to be able to predict AEW creative better. It seems.
Let's everybody that goes to the show take a sign that says, "Tony, please come to work." That is what we need him to come to fucking work.
This is a great call to action. Brian, again, thank you for joining us tonight. Zubes, thank you very much. Bobby, thank you for your production work, keeping us rocking on the air. If you are on the podcast services, rate, review, all that. And if you're watching this on YouTube, we need your help so badly. Our YouTube is disastrous.
I'll suck you off.
Brian will suck you off. How you can't
deal.
get it any better than that.
That's a great deal.
That's how I got guys to be so big.
Well, maybe Zubes. Maybe we need to be having a meeting here. We've already just found the path of success.
I mean, that is a great way to get guys big, is to suck them.
Patreon.com/J0SHC. At the free tier, you can get in on the pick'em sheet. You pick it perfect. You get one of the 2 remaining Wrestling Brain holographic stickers. Then I have fabric stickers arriving for the next 20 people who can pick pay-per-views. Perfect.
Wow.
Beyond that, if you pay the $5, you get into the Wrestling Brain Discord. Who knows what might be shown in there in glorious 4K on Saturday night? It could be anything. Hop in there. You can talk at all times about wrestling and all sorts of stuff into the Wrestling Brain Discord. I also did a breakdown with 15 of my biggest takeaways with clips of my Ariel Helwani and Tony Khan this week. So check that out as well. Guys, thanks again so much for joining me. Everybody have a wonderful night. I'm live the moment the pay-per-view ends on Saturday. Come by when Full Gear ends. We'll go through the pay-per-view together.
I will be sleeping because I will feel dead.
Well, no, you'll be Brian. You'll be here tuning
I'll
in
be
like
there.
you are.
No,
I'll
I'll
have
be dead.
headphones on in bed watching that.
I
for sure.
promise I will be face down in my bed saying, I'm glad that's over. All right. Bye, guys. I'm going to
Good
go to
night,
bed.
everybody.
Bye.